Hello, Internet. Once again, we meet. I hope you're doing well. I hope that sound is good. Hope the visuals are 5x5, even though I know they're not. No, it's okay. One of these days, maybe I'll splurge for a better selfie-styled camera, but probably not anytime soon. We'll see. So, I wanted to talk today about misinformation. The latest misinformation of 2023 is the contestant from the war in Gaza between Israel and Hamas. And obviously the war is also in Israel. Misinformation won the pageant because of all the horrible fake facts and figures and other pieces of misinformation and disinformation aimed at misleading and disinforming. And as persuasive as misinformation might be, you should not fall for her trappings, which are specifically designed to fool ye. Now, what is it about misinformation that is so beguiling to the unknowing, naive followers who are seduced by it? Why do they fall for her every single time? Well, sad but true, education systems around the world have been getting increasingly worse over time. And when I say worse, I mean worse. As in, when you go to school now, I'm talking about K through 12 specifically, when you go to school in most industrialized nations, you learn less than you did 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago, 100 years ago. Now, you may have had less access to information previously, but access to information does not guarantee better teaching staff, does not guarantee better schooling hours, does not guarantee better curriculum, does not guarantee better learning behavior, does not guarantee better practice time, and certainly does not guarantee better learning in and of itself. Therefore, you can give people all the access you want. The argument used to be, oh, if only the world would have access to all this information, we'd have a better world, because people would be able to know what's fact and what's fiction. Well, guess what? Now anybody can find out what's fact and what's fiction, and what do they do instead? They fall for the fiction. You know why? Because most people are not above average or very intelligent. Most people are at or below the average, or below the above average, below significant intelligence. Think about it. If you can say that anybody in the top 20 percentile you can call very intelligent, okay? Then that means that 80% of people are not very intelligent. All right? You have about 30% who are intelligent, but not necessarily discerning, have no necessary great judgment skills. They're just slightly better than average. And then half of the people are average or less than average intelligence. which means the overwhelming majority of people are not very intelligent. Now, why is this a problem? Well, how do I put it? In a world where 80% of the people are not very intelligent, you're going to have education problems. And part of those education problems are people are not going to internalize lessons very well. And as a result, when they think they're learning something, there's a high chance that they're not. And when they think they're learning something of value, there's a high probability that it's not. And when they think they're being intelligent, there's a high probability that they're not. All in all, while I don't want to say education is wasted on the youth, education is wasted on people who are not very intelligent, who have no incentive to seek better education. They take what's given to them and prescribed by the law. In some countries, that means you have to go, up to some point along the way, high school or somewhere along that path. In many countries, it's not. And the result is that people who go through the education process in wherever they live end up highly miseducated. Like massively miseducated. As in, they're the people that the propaganda is designed to mislead. And by propaganda, I mean propaganda generated by all sides of any given conflict. Or not even a conflict. All sides of given issues that are owned by interests large enough to create propaganda. What does it take to create propaganda? Not very much. People can do it on their own. You can take video footage that someone else shot even, recaption it, put some lies around it, send it out on a social network, boom, propaganda. That's at the independent level, and people have much more power to do that now than they ever had before. So great is the power of information. And in a way, that's wonderful that we all have the ability to make information and share it with the world. That is an amazing tool for which we should be grateful and appreciative of. But that very same tool can be used for very nefarious things, to spread lies and misinformation and disinformation. And that is done by all manner of individuals, groups, organizations, political parties, militaries, it doesn't matter. Even sports teams do it, right? Celebrities have teams of people who work to create propaganda or to fight propaganda. Brands have teams of people who work to deal with propaganda. Propaganda isn't just media coverage, okay? Yes, some media coverage, even a lot, or you could say most media coverage, is basically propaganda of one side or another, depending on who's footing the bill for that particular media outlet. But it's not all propaganda. Some news is still just news. It's kind of harder to find these days, but it still is news. But as the age of information matures a little, and we are still relatively in the early stages of it, right? We're still just in the first several decades. or so, really, of the information age, as they used to call it. We're like in the, it's around, you could say it's already 50 years old or 60 years old, but it's really only around 30 or so years since the web started really to become, to take off in like the early 1990s. Once that happened, a meteoric rise happened as well in the amount of propaganda being produced. And it's very clear, you could say it's a correlation, also just say it's a natural outcropping of what happens when you have such a tremendous amount of information tools in the hands of everybody. Now anyone with a TCP/IP connection can create entire oceans of misinformation. You all know about internet trolls, right? Armies of trolls, troll farms, who literally pay people to spread misinformation. To just go online and wholesale out of whole cloth to create false information in order to fit one narrative or another, right? There are people who are infamous for doing this sort of thing, including the Russian dictator or autocrat or president or whatever you want to call him, Vladimir Putin, right? Vladimir Putin utilizes troll farms to his political advantage in order to spread disinformation that will lead to his interests gaining a better foothold, whether it's gaining a better foothold in America in order to destabilize America's democracy, whether it's using trolls to distract people with the Hold on. Why not? I'm not giving up credit. Nope. Using the stick. Here. No, you got to recall. In the store. You got to recall. No, I'm busy. I'm not gonna run around to get you. Don't do it. Nope. No. Welcome to Sober Life. You don't like it? Too bad. No, you don't get to stay here. I'm not throwing it up. No, I'm not. You must be dumber than doornails. You think I'm gonna buy you that shit? Yeah, I could buy it for you. Why would I? Because you'd have to suffer a little bit? Bitch, I suffer every day for years because of you. I don't care. I don't care what excuse you give me. I told you it's over, it's over. And I mean it. And you have to deal with that. Why should I buy you the drugs that make you worse? I'm not gonna buy you the drugs that make you worse. You're gonna be an idiot, and you're gonna buy your shit from someone else, and then you're gonna use it like an idiot, and you're gonna be out of it tomorrow, and then what are you gonna do? You're a fucking fool. You are a fucking fool. And I am done with you being a fool in my house. Want to be a fool? Go be a fool somewhere else. I don't need that shit here. And you're not bringing that shit to my house. And I mean that. And if you think you are, you got another thing coming.